The Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den, is an incredible podcast network that offers a wide variety of entertaining and informative podcasts.
With a lineup of shows covering various topics, such as interviews with a wide variety of guests, history, music, relationships, true crime, and so much more. The Den provides content that caters to a diverse range of interests.
The hosts and guests on the Deluxe Edition Network demonstrate a deep passion and expertise in their respective fields, making each episode on each show engaging and thought-provoking.
The network fosters a sense of community by encouraging listeners to interact through live chats, social media, and forums, creating an inclusive environment for discussion and sharing opinions.
With its commitment to high-quality production, the shows in the Deluxe Edition Network continue to captivate and entertain its ever-growing audience.
Whether you're a podcast enthusiast or someone looking to explore new topics, The Den is a fantastic platform to dive into and uncover fascinating insights from experts in their fields.
The Deluxe Edition Network is the home of independent awesomeness.
To find all these great podcasts in one convenient location, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
This podcast is hosted by Buzzsprout. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message to the world. If you want an upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find exactly what you need. We use Buzzsprout and it's a game changer for us. An all-new analytics system helps us track who's listening to our show and where they're listening to it. If you'd like to use Buzzsprout as well, follow the link in our show notes to buzzsprout.com. And while you're there, let them know that Films and Fermentation sent you.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Season 8 premiere of Films and Fermentation. That's right, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We are still three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, we celebrate our 8th season premiere. It's episode 134. We're going to be returning to one of our favorite recurring segments on the show, Movies That Time Forgot. This is actually part 7 in the series of Movies That Time Forgot. We've done this 6 times before. We hope you enjoy this episode and stick around this season because we have plenty more fun content planned for you. I'd also like to say happy 3rd wedding anniversary to Kevin and Megan. I looked it up in case you were wondering, Kevin. The 3rd wedding anniversary gift is leather.
Yes.
So
yes,
luckily
I got
you
my
still
assless chaps.
I was going to say, luckily you still have that gimp suit in the trunk upstairs here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
The whip still cracks. Need a little saddle soap, but we're okay.
Is the safe word still banana? Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our shit at teespring.com. I'm wearing one of our hats right now that Mike had made for us.
No, I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Kevin's got the Films and Fermentation t-shirt on. You can get the t-shirt at the website, not the hat. But I can direct you to where you can get the hat if you'd like. We're also on the Deluxe Edition Network now. You can find out more about us and all the other podcasts that are part of the network by going to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's Deluxe Edition Network, The Den. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen, or should I say this afternoon, since this is a gloomy Saturday afternoon that we're doing this recording? I'm going to go last, so whoever wants to go first.
I will go first.
Okay.
I am going to start off with a Hardywood, gentlemen. It's the Christmas Pancake. It's an imperial milk stout with spices, honey, and maple syrup. It's 9.2% alcohol by volume, so this is good on an empty stomach. And it says Hardywood Christmas Pancakes takes our gingerbread stout out for breakfast. We intensify our already decadent GBS with gallons of local maple syrup for a sweet and sticky treat. Who doesn't love a sweet and sticky treat? Who doesn't love breakfast for dinner? Enjoy fresh from Virginia. Oh no, Hardywood, which is out of Richmond, Virginia. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Says it on the top of the can.
Yeah.
Hardywood Park Craft Brewery, Richmond, Virginia. Brew with us. Like, what are you doing?
I am drinking a beer that I got from my good friend Kevin.
Hey.
It's Begley's Brew Works Rude Elves Reserved Belgian Spice Ale with spices. It's 10.5 alcohol by volume. And dark can. I can't really see where they're from.
You're from Fegley's.
Well, yeah.
He's got to get the bifocals out.
Yeah.
Extend that arm.
I just can't see it from the light I have. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, it's just the light. It's the light.
It's the light. It's the light. And he's not supposed to be driving at night.
It's the beats.
Pittston, Pennsylvania. There you go.
They weren't lying about the bubble and beer fest. So I am also drinking a couple of Kevin beers. I am as well right now, starting with the Christmas Pancake.
It's very mapley.
It is very mapley. It's very thick, but it's good. 9.2% alcohol by volume. And when I kill that one, I'm going to finish off today with Misfit Toys Hot Cocoa Peppermint Stout from Rusty Rail Brewery. This is 6.5% alcohol by volume. And it's another one of the beers that Kevin gave me. Where's Rusty Rail from? Rusty Rail is Mifflinburg, PA. So they're fairly local.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drinking it out of the boot.
The boot.
The boot. So Kevin gave me the boot for Christmas. And I decided, since we're doing Movies that Time Forgot, I should talk about where the term Das Boot comes from. So everybody uses Das Boot to describe the boot-shaped glass, especially because that's the Americanized way of doing it. But Das Boot does not mean the boot.
It means
Das Boot means the boot. Das Boot is a much forgotten film from 1981. Was an Oscar-nominated film directed by Wolfgang Petersen, starring Jürgen Prochnow. It is a really good movie. It's a German U-boat stalks the frigid waters of North Atlantic as its young crew experience terror and claustrophobia as the life of a submariner in World War II. So the term Das Boot is actually the boat, not the boot. If you wanted to do this, correctly, this is not a Das Boot. This is a Das Stiefelförmige, which is the correct German word for the boot.
Das Snappalappagif.
Yes, that was the whole background behind my choice tonight, was to drink out of the boot and explain where the boot actually comes from.
Nice.
Although, as I've been referencing Beer Fest as well, they drink from the boots at the end of the film in the competition and discover that when you're drinking it, you got to turn it as you drink it so that the bubble doesn't rush up into your face. And as we can tell, I've already had 2 instances where the bubble almost hit me in the face. So I haven't learned my lesson yet. We're getting there.
So is it an Oktoberfest thing? Do you pull out that spoon during Oktoberfest?
Yeah, it's like an Oktoberfest thing, yeah. Michael, anything happened this week?
This week in film history, it was a slow week, boys. It really was a slow week. So
you don't have too many slow weeks.
In 2020, the 77th Golden Globes 1917 Best Drama, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh, the 1917 was the Best Drama. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was Best Comedy Musical. Acting awards for Renee Zellweger, Joaquin Phoenix. Don't even try to make me pronounce that one.
Aquafina.
Thank you.
Aquafina.
And Taron Egerton.
All right. So the notable thing about this is the pandemic year.
Yes.
So there weren't a lot of films, I think that were eligible for nominations that year because it was just like a slow year. I don't remember exactly, but I really think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the last movie I saw in the theater before the pandemic. Because it came out as a Tarantino film. I was excited because it's a Tarantino film. Wasn't too happy with it the first time I saw it. Second time I watched it, it was a little bit better. But it winning Best Comedy Musical is funny because it's not a comedy, nor is it a musical. It's just the Golden Globe uses that category to give awards to films that they can't give the drama award to or something. Because they gave it to The Martian a couple years before that.
Right.
No, that was a musical. They just cut out all the musical numbers.
Yeah, they just cut all the musical numbers.
I'm growing potatoes with shit. I am growing potatoes with shit.
I'm about to science the shit out of this. Renee Zellweger won for playing Judy Garland. I think the movie was called Judy. Joaquin Phoenix won for playing the Joker that year. Aquafina won for a performance in a family drama / comedy film. I can't remember the name of it. And Taron Egerton won for playing Elton John in Rocket Man. So interesting year. And your last one's kind of interesting too.
In 2023, Pocahontas revealed as the 12th great-grandmother of actor Edward Norton on PBS's Finding Your Roots.
This is bizarre. That's
it was a hurting week.
It's a bizarre fact, man. It's cool, but it's weird.
He can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Yeah, of the wind, I know. He's like, don't you know whose 12th great-grandson I am?
It's the next Wes Anderson
Right,
film.
you got there, Mike, best beer craft destination for us this week?
I have a must-try beer. It's Float on Hefeweizen from Ratio Beer Works, Denver, Colorado.
That's Colorado. 1,200 miles south of Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Ratio's brewers approach this particular Bavarian wheat ale with traditional methods and ingredients, including a malt bill of 60% white wheat malt. Clove and banana are big in the aroma and flavor. Clove dominates, which usually means the beer was fermented at lower temperatures. Sticky white lace coats the glass above the clouded orange bronze brew. There you go, boys.
So, destination for you guys, I don't know if you saw the text I sent you earlier, found a distillery called Oak and Eden. Katie and I discovered it the other day. It's a website where you can design your own bourbon, and they will mail it to you, deliver it to you. And so we each designed a bourbon bottle each the other night.
Nice.
So you can pick the notes that you want in it, if you want anything infused in it, what type of bourbon, all that stuff. It's kind of cool.
All right.
So I had the Christmas pancakes here, Kev. Like you said, it's very much maple syrupy.
Yeah.
I had pancakes this morning for breakfast because I wanted to compare. And I think this drink has more syrup in it than the pancakes I ate this morning.
Ouch.
It is very sweet. It's good, but it's sweet.
It's not one of it's not a bad one. It's not a great one. It's not a bad one.
All right, so it's time for synopsis according to Glip. Glip is brought to you by Newsly.me. Newsly.me is an audio super app for iOS and Android that reads the news to you in a natural human voice. Stop scrolling and start listening. Go to Newsly.me today and use the promo code ANFERMENT to get your first month's premium subscription for free. So I should preface this with the Glip for our last program, which was 2 weeks ago, was our deep dive into National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I expected the Glip to be pretty funny, and it was boring. Like, it was a really long, fairly boring synopsis. There was only one really good part right at the middle, which is where we actually were talking about the film. So that's the part I parceled out, and I saved it. I didn't put it on the notes yet because I wanted to save it for just, your eyes now. So here is the Glip from last week, mainly about the main segment, Christmas Vacation. Mike's favorite part was watching the cat get fried and waking up with its head glued to the carpet. Kevin pissed his pants and forgot who he was for an hour and a half. Leo told him they are floor-flushing sacks of monkey shit. The participants think Cousin Eddie is burly, bulging man and found it a heartfelt moment when Clark reads The Nightmare Before Christmas to the family. It sounds about accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tell you.
It seems right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I do remember Kevin pissing his pants, so.
It did happen.
I mean, that's just a regular Saturday. It's probably going to happen by the end of this program.
Who said it hasn't already?
I'm always calling you guys floor-flushing sacks of monkey shit. I mean, that's my
that's
pet name
2 sacks apiece, so, come on.
That's my pet name for you. And, The Nightmare Before Christmas I didn't realize I said that when I was describing that scene. You guys both called me out on it on the show, and I didn't even notice it until I listened back to the show again. I was like, oh, yeah, I did say Nightmare Before Christmas, didn't I? He was reading The Night Before Christmas. That was our synopsis, according to Glip.
That's rough.
That's so rough.
That's me playing with my new soundboard that I got for Christmas.
It sounds some shit.
Yeah.
Mike and I can have soundboard off now. Oh, Kev, there's your 3rd anniversary. So, Pods Are Us, which is Pods Are Us, which is a online podcast review site that also promotes podcasts regularly. They gave us a nice little promotion at the end of the year. And when they released their end of the year list of the top 10 promoted podcasts of 2023, we made number 2 on the Pods Are Us list. So I want to thank podsareus.com for doing that for us and putting us so high on their list. We really appreciate the support that they've given us in 2023. That being said, we're going to take a short break to listen to a few little promos from some of our podcast friends at the Deluxe Edition Network. When we come back, we're going to be going to our main segment, Movies That Time Forgot. So we'll be back after the short break.
Hey, this is Ron. Do you like movies?
Hey, this is Ragnar. Y'all like alcohol?
Hey guys, this is Stu. Do you like punishments?
Hey, this is Goot. Do you like cinephiles?
Hey everybody, I'm Chase. Do you guys like alcohol poisoning?
If you like all of that, then check us out at Barrel Age Flicks. We're on Apple, Spotify, and all the other platforms out there.
Hey guys, Matt coming at you from The Real Drunks. Hey, if you're into movies, booze, craft beers, and just shooting the shit with your friends, join myself, Jake, and Alyssa on The Real Drunks on the Deluxe Edition Network and anywhere you get your podcast from. That's The Real Drunks, REEL, The Real Drunks. Check us out.
Hey all you guys and ghouls, it's your ghostess with the mostest, Amber Brooke here, and I just want to tell you a little about Terror Tuesday. Well, Terror Tuesday is an Instagram live show where I talk about horror, conspiracy theories, serial killers, supernatural stuff, and so much more. And I discuss it with some super special horror-loving guests. So if you like blood, gore, spooky, scary stuff with a hint of comedy, Terror Tuesday is for you. You can tune in on my channel, Amber.Brook32, to catch one. Tune in, or else. Relax. I can't see, but it's just ketchup. Nope, that's blood.
All right, we are back from our short break. Our main segment tonight is Movies of Time Forgotten. As I said, this is part 7 in a series. We have already done 6 of these where we've talked about some movies such as Ice Pirates, The Boy Who Can Fly, Lady Hawk, Haunted Honeymoon, Defending Your Life. When we had All Solid Evil on as guests, they brought in Practical Magic and what was the other one they did? Was the Burt Reynolds movie?
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. That was the one they brought in. I've also done Digstown. I've done The Explorers. I mean, we've had a lot of
Highlander
was one of them. We had a lot of like really good movies on here, and some that were like, boy, I remember loving this when I was a kid, but man,
didn't hold up.
Did not hold up at all as an adult. But that's okay. So we'll see how it goes tonight with tonight's movies that we brought in. We like to do this for our premiere episode. It's a fun segment. So we're going to have 3 movies that Time Forgot tonight, since we don't have any special guests this week. Who wants to go first?
I will.
All right, Kev. Kev is going to go first.
Okay.
So usually how we do this
typical
is
game style.
Kevin will describe a little bit of the film. Mike and I will try to guess what it is, and then we'll talk some background and trivia and stuff like that. So go ahead, Kev.
All right. Let's start with the year, 1989. Okay.
My movie's from the same year.
Oh, very nice. We'll go to the director next, which he's not one that rings bells for me, but okay, Ted Kotcheff.
Okay.
Ted Kotcheff.
I can already relax now, knowing that it's not the same movie I chose.
Or mine.
Yeah.
See, 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh God!
In terms of its rating, so you can see it's not a stellar movie. All right, and I'll give you guys the synopsis, the short synopsis. I'm sure you'll get it from this. Or should I give you the actors? Either way, I think it's a giveaway.
Which one do you think would make it more difficult?
I'll give you the actors first.
Okay.
Okay. So, like any good 90s or 80s movie, it's got Andrew McCarthy in it. Okay.
Mannequin 2.
Who's not in that? Jonathan Silverman.
Weekend at Bernie's.
You got it. Weekend at Bernie's.
Wow.
Which, oddly enough, I just watched for the first time in probably 20 years. Because it was on recently, not on New Year's Day, which it should have been on, but it was on recently.
Yeah. It was one that popped in my memory. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. It wasn't a great movie, but it was entertaining at the time. I like the plot summary. 2 idiots try to pretend that their murdered employer is really alive, leading the hitman to attempt to track him down to finish him off, and he gets killed like 5 different ways, and he still keeps popping up. I'd probably, what I would have been 10, 11 when this movie came out, and I obviously would not have seen it in the theaters. Let's see. I like that they used Terry. What's his name? Terry. Oh, I'm well prepared. Terry Kaiser. Kaiser. who played Bernie Lomax, did all of, did the scenes where it was a close-up of Bernie, even though he was dead, like he just had to be loose. But his stunt double ended up getting severely hurt for the course of filming. Molly, stop. Taking a hole into the bathroom underneath. Stop. You weird dog. Any cool facts about this? Let's see. The director makes an appearance. He has a cameo as Richard's father. He comes out in his underwear and blows Richard's cover. I guess that was after his date with the girl. Let's see. Do you guys want to take a guess as to the body count in this movie?
One.
Very good.
Yeah, Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a fact for this one. I'm pretty sure it was New Year's Eve, because I remember seeing the trailer around Christmas time. The film was supposed to be released on New Year's Eve and was only supposed to play that weekend, but did so well at the box office, they kept it in the theater, and it went on to be like a runaway hit that the studio did not expect.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. And I love, like, the guy that plays Bernie, Terry Kaiser, man. Like, even though, like, a lot of his is the close-up stuff, it's difficult shit he's doing in that film.
Yeah.
You might think it's like easy because he's playing a dead guy, but he's doing so much like physical comedy that relies on him appearing to be dead, but doing all this like crazy shit in the meantime. Like I feel like we've talked about it before on like a previous episode, but I remember saying like how much I enjoy like the physical comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the guy that plays the hitman that's trying to kill him throughout the whole film, who's like is flabbergasted that he can't kill this guy.
Right.
Like,
He's injected him, he shot him, he strangled him.
And he keeps coming back, and it's like that part's pretty funny. And the actress who plays Jonathan Silverman's love interest in the film, Catherine Mary Stewart, is one of my 80s crushes because she was in The Last Starfighter.
Oh, yeah?
Playing the main character's girlfriend in that film.
This was supposed to be a vehicle for Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of their childish ways of the early 80s and into more adult roles.
Something about this, like, I mean, not that they've had any real groundbreaking roles, but Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman, I think, are so good together in this. I can't imagine another comedy duo, handling this film like they did.
Yeah.
Especially Andrew McCarthy, who was, he was in Mannequin, the first Mannequin, not the second one.
Right. No one wanted to see the second Mannequin. The only person they could get back for the second Mannequin was the guy that played.
It was
the interior designer.
The interior design guy. Wasn't his name Hollywood?
Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. It was the dude from Designing Women.
Right.
I can't remember his name. Meshack Taylor. I like Weekend at Bernie's, and yeah, like I watched it recently, and I was like, do I want to watch this? It's been a long time. I can't imagine it held up well.
Since I watched it.
It didn't hold up well.
No.
But it was still funny. Like, it was still like enjoyable. It was enjoyable as like a nostalgia pick.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, it made enough money to get a sequel.
As most films do, yeah. When they make enough money. That's funny, man. Weekend at Bernie's. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's definitely something that time forgot, because it's like such an odd concept.
If that pops up on the screen, it's like, hey, I remember what. Yeah, let me put that on.
Like anybody not born in the 70s or 80s, you have to explain to them what Weekend at Bernie's is.
Yeah.
It's such an odd concept, and I don't know if it's a movie that would really work now. Not that it's not a movie that can't be made today. It's not anything like, bad. It was like a PG film, PG-13. It wasn't too.
It's based off of a Hindi movie.
Really? I did not know that part.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like it's not something that can't be made, but it's not something I feel like would be made nowadays. And Terry Kaiser's
inspired by the very low budget 1983 Hindi movie Jane Behi Du Yaro. I'm sure I screwed that up, but Anywho,
Terry Kaiser's stunt double suffered a few broken ribs during filming, mostly in the scene in which Bernie is dragged around the surface of the ocean, bumping
why
into
would
metal,
they have a live
bumping into
person
metal
for that?
floating booties. Why have a real human doing that, not a fucking dummy? Like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Like, all right, here's what we need you to do. You're going to get dragged around the lake. You might slam into a couple of buoys. Are they fake? No, they're real buoys made out of fucking rusted metal. But we're going to slam you into them anyway. Don't worry, the water will cushion the blow.
That's something to consider. Movies where
Yeah,
people were drug on the water or drug behind something. You know,
John
you
Candy
got John Candy and the Great Outdoors. Yep.
Yeah, movies in which stunt doubles received serious injuries.
That's mine.
This is considered, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. That's funny. All right. So, you have anything else we're going to add for it, Kev, or should we go to somebody else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Mike, you want to go next, or should I go next?
I'll go next.
You'll go next. I know you said yours is going to be difficult to guess, so let's go with that.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if either one of you have seen this. So,
okay.
This 1982 rated R movie was directed by Albert Pun, Pyun.
Okay.
It starred Lee Horsley, Kathleen Beller, Simon McCorkindale, George Maharis.
Are you making these fucking names up?
He's giving us a foreign film.
Richard
It's a foreign
Lynch.
film from 1982 that I enjoyed watching.
Richard Lynch and Richard Mole.
And Richard
Well, that's
Mole?
the biggest name on there, Richard Mole.
Richard Mole is definitely the biggest name on there. God damn.
Man.
Give me can I get a synopsis?
I can give you the storyline. In a dark epoch of sorcery, the monstrous megalomaniac King Titus Cromwell awakens the demonic sorcerer Zuxus of Delos to usurp the throne of benevolent King Richard of Aden, enslaving his daughter and forcing his youngest son Talon into exile. One violent decade later, Talon, now a great warrior wielding a magnificent three-bladed sword, returns hell-bent on revenge. Unbeknownst to him, however, the evil sorcerer is alive, gathering his strength for an ultimate battle. And let me tell you, the three-bladed sword is what made this movie cool to me as a kid, because the two blades on the sides shot out.
This is going to piss me off because I remember the three-bladed sword, but I can't remember the name of the movie. And I don't know any of the other than Richard Mole. I couldn't name any of the other actors in the film.
No, I'm lost.
But I remember this
is a
three-bladed
Bollywood
sword.
movie.
No, this is probably
not a Bollywood movie.
It's like almost a B-rated fantasy movie.
It sounds almost like what was the one about King Arthur and Merlin in the 80s? It was
Excalibur.
Excalibur. If I knew better, if I didn't know any better, I would thought it was Excalibur you were describing.
Let me tell you this.
I know the actors in that film.
These are the movies that are more like this movie: Dragon Slayer, Beastmaster, Deathstalker, and Krull.
I love Krull.
Yes.
That's a fucking movie that time forgot. That shit is awesome. Beastmaster is a movie that time forgot.
Yep.
What were the other ones you said?
You probably recognize Richard Lynch if you saw him. But this movie, are you guys ready to give up on it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gave up, but that's me. Is it Gauntlet?
No, I know.
A video game made for a movie?
The title is similar to The Sword and the Stone. But it's not The Sword and the Stone because that's another Arthur story. It's The Sword and something. Because I remember the sword. I remember the three-bladed sword. It's the sword and the something, but I can't remember what the something
The sword and the oak tree.
Leo's very close. He is
is. It
very
the
close.
sword? Oh, motherfucker. It's like another word for like a magician or something.
The sword and the warlock?
No.
Sorcerer.
That's it. Sword and
the
sorcerer.
sorcerer. I got. I was like, motherfucker. I know I've seen this.
I'm surprised you actually had seen that movie.
Like if I've seen it, it was probably one time when I was like 7. I remember the three-bladed sword and thinking how cool that was because I was a big fan of the glaive from Krull.
Uh-huh.
It was like a boomerang with blades on it. I couldn't name the actors in it though.
Well, the only way you know it's Richard Mall is because he's the demon sorcerer that's all in makeup. You just kind of see him in the makeup.
Oh, that's Richard Mole. That's not who I was thinking was Richard Mole.
Richard Mole is Bull from Night Court.
It's Bull.
Yeah, that's not who I was thinking.
Richard Lynch is like a character actor that does a lot of bad
he's
guys.
not who I was thinking either. I was thinking, hold on one second, I'll tell you. Richard.
I'm looking up Richard Lynch right now.
Martin Mull. That's who I was thinking of. Martin
he was Colonel Mustard in Clue.
Yes.
I've seen Richard Lynch before. He's one of those character actors who's like you see his face in a million fucking things.
Yeah, he's the evil king.
He's in Halloween 2007. Yeah. He's in Sword and Sorcerer. He was in Video Zone, not that. I thought it was Videodrome. Yeah, he's like a character actor. It's like a million fucking like B movies and shit.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the director. Is Richard Pune? What's his name?
Pune. P-Y-U-N.
P-Y-U-N. Richard Pune. Albert Pune. I'm sorry, Albert Pune.
Oh, Albert. Yeah, Albert.
He is best known for Sword and Sorcerer was his first movie. Oh, but he directed another film I kind of like. That's kind of a forgotten film. The 1989 action film with Jean-Claude Van Damme called Cyborg.
Oh, jeez.
That is about all I know from his career. I'm looking at the films that he directed. He directed Cyborg, Nemesis, Bullet Face, Road to Hell, Left 4 Dead, Cool Air, Aliens Gone Wild. Ice-T, Always Wanted to Be a Hoe. Oh my God, this dude has a fucking career.
Oh my God.
Kickboxer
I just read the trivia for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
My God, this movie was fucked up.
Give me some trivia, sir.
Stuntman Jack Tyree was killed when he jumped off a cliff and missed the airbags.
I don't mean to laugh, but Jesus Christ. Aren't the airbags like a football field size? I know when like a jumper is jumping off a building and like the police put the airbag on the ground, it's usually like the size of the street.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Mole played the undead wizard who was resurrected. The contact lenses he wore reacted poorly to the muck that he rose out of. They ended up fusing to his eyes. He had to have them surgically removed.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Oliver Reed was originally cast as the film's narrator, but he showed up drunk and upset that he was there at all. His verbal attack escalated into breaking things in the office. But once he calmed down, he was tossed a few compliments.
You know who Oliver Reed is? His final film was Gladiator with Russell Crowe. He was the guy that takes him to the arena.
Trains him or
yeah.
Not trains him, but takes him, yeah.
Oliver Reed. He was an alcoholic till the day he died.
So yeah, there you go. The first 3 trivia is how fucked up this movie got.
Yeah, that's pretty. The stuntman missing the airbag thing is like I can't believe they finished the film after that.
Well, what did they do with the Twilight Zone? Didn't that
they finished that fucking film? They released that film
one
too, and that dude, the actor, got his head cut off.
Mm-hmm. And the kids.
And the kids.
Yeah,
crazy,
not a cinematic masterpiece by any means of the imagination.
I want to
the
say
nuance of the three-bladed sword.
Mm-hmm. What about the three-bladed sword?
Definitely wore off when you watch the nuance of it. You know how I liked it as a kid. When you see it now, go wah 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 wah. Like nah, they slow it down to make it look like it goes fast.
It does make me want to watch Krull again.
I mean,
or maybe Excalibur.
It isn't horrible. The acting's cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one of those bad movies you like to watch kind of thing.
It's coming off, you gotta think it's 1982, so it's still fairly early in the 80s, so it's coming off the 70s.
Yeah,
where
so
like those B movies were still kind of a thing, and
you got your fight scene where you hit a guy and he knocks into three other guys type deals, and you go through the window with all the naked women.
You got to think there's like way more bad movies from the 80s than there are great movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We just think there's more great movies than there are because we love so many of these bad movies. The whole point of this segment is to talk about horrible fucking movies from the like mainly horrible movies
And this one had no stars in it.
Yeah, except for Richard Mull.
Richard Mull.
But not quite a star yet because he wasn't on Night Court yet. That didn't come to like 1987 or something.
The main star was Lee Horsley, and he was
Lee Horsley.
I was in the Hateful Eight.
I'm looking him up.
He was still
Lee
active after
Horsley.
2015.
Sword and the Sorcerer. He looks like a dollar store version of like Tom Selleck.
He does, yes.
Yeah. Showdown at Area 51. The Hateful. Oh, he's in the Hateful Eight. Playing Ed. I don't know who Ed was. I think
he was in the Django Unchained.
He was in Django Unchained. It figures he's in Tarantino films because Tarantino would most definitely be a fan of Sword and the Sorcerer.
He was also touched by an angel.
The Kid, Snowy River, Hawkeye. Corpse had a familiar.
I want to see this movie. The Corpse had a familiar face.
I know. I was just looking at that one too. It's a TV film. Buys Evidence, Palomino, Paradise, Face of Fear. I never heard any of these things he was in.
Yeah,
North and South, Book 2.
Love and War.
The Love Boat. He was on the Love Boat.
The Love Boat. Matt Houston.
Sword and the Sorcerer was the first movie. He was on a TV show called Nero Wolf for 14 episodes.
Apparently, he was in infidelity with Christy Alley.
A movie infidelity, or was actually like practicing infidelity with Christy Alley?
No, it was a movie because there's a picture of him with her.
You have to be clear. You have to clarify there.
Okay.
So, do you have anything else you want to add about your film, Mike? Or are we good?
We're pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Got nothing else you want to say? All right. So we're gonna take
the airbags. What else do I need to say?
He missed the airbag. R.I.P. Stuntman who missed the airbag. We're gonna take another short break for a couple more promos, and we'll be right back with my pick for a movie that time forgot. So please.
Join hosts Dave Houghton and Sarah Ray Talley as they examine the less glamorous side of sports with their podcast, In a Pickle. Follow IAP Radio on social media by going to IAPradio.com. In a Pickle is now part of the Den Network. For more information, go to IAPradio.com.
Hey movie lovers, it's Jackson here from the Back to the Blockbuster podcast. If you've ever wanted to hear an amateur cinephile and an industry professional chat about film and television, then look no further, because every week my co-host Gaius and I, we bring you the latest industry news, break down the most recent trailers, try to beat the box office with our weekly predictions, and dive into our favorite movies on their anniversaries. And every second Friday, you can look forward to the Back to the Blockbuster spin-off, Deep Dives with Owen and Gaius, where the duo dissects a movie of their own choice. All this and more wherever you get your podcasts.
Man. We're back from our second short break here. We're continuing with the topic, movies that time forgot. Moving on to my movie, but before I do that, I am on my second beer of the night. Again, it's another beer that Kev gave me. It's called Misfit Toys from Rusty Rail Brewing in Pennsylvania. It is a hot cocoa peppermint stout. I could taste the cocoa. It's definitely a stout because it is a thicker beer. I get a little bit of the peppermint, not too much. I kind of like it, though. I don't know if I like this one or the pancake one better, though, Kev.
I think I like the pancake one better than the Misfit Toys.
I think I'm leaning towards Misfit Toys a little bit because it's not as sweet as the pancake one was. Pancake one was still good. I enjoyed it. I just it's not one I could drink beer after beer after beer. That's like one can and I'm done. But I'm liking the Misfit Toys so far. All right, time for my movie. Let's see. I'll give you the year first. My movie came out, like Kevin's did, came out in 1989. It is rated R. It is a horror film. I'm going to give you this fact first because I just think it's fascinating. The director is George P. Cosmatos, best known for directing his previous films, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Cobra, also starring Sylvester Stallone, and Tombstone, a film that we have recasted on this very program.
He did direct Tombstone.
He was the director that came on and then left, and then
director
Kurt
on
Russell
record.
Took over. But he was like the initial director on Tombstone. But this is one of his like middle career films, I would say, because it's 1989. The film is a horror film. Should I give you the stars or the synopsis first?
Stars. Which one would make it tougher?
Maybe the stars.
All right, then go with the stars.
The movie stars Peter Weller, best known for RoboCop. Richard Crenna, who is also in the Rambo films. Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters. Hector Elizondo, who is probably best known for Pretty Woman. Meg Foster, who was a villain actress from many a film in the 80s, including They Live. Daniel Stern, who had yet to be tortured by Kevin in Home Alone at this point.
Wait, Danielle or Daniel?
Daniel Stern.
Okay. But you said Danielle.
Amanda Pays, who was a very attractive TV actress who was trying to become a film star but didn't quite go many places after this film. Michael is praying to the gods because he looks like he might have something here.
I know it.
You think you know it? Do you want to hear the synopses?
I do.
Yeah, give me the synopsis.
Perched on the hull of a wrecked Soviet freighter, a team of deep-sea miners led by head oceanographer Stephen Beck. Leviathan. Very good. Now, we talked about this one before because we did it on Twin Films because it came out the same year as Deep Star 6, which is another underwater horror film, not as good as this one. And it also came out relatively around the same time as The Abyss. Stars Ed Harris, directed by James Cameron, which is a much superior film. But I have a little place in my heart for this film because it's a practical effects wonder piece. The effects were done by Stan Winston, who is probably second only to Rick Baker in practical effects in Hollywood. So here's the full synopsis from that I got on IMDb here. In the Atlantic Ocean, 16,000 feet deep, the Tri-Oceanic Mining Corporation keeps an 8-man crew with the mission of extracting silver and other precious metals. The geologist and leader Stephen Beck, played by Peter Weller, works with Dr. Glenn Doc Thompson, played by Richard Crenna. Managing the miners, astronauts wannabe Elizabeth Willie Williams, prankster Buzz Six-Pack Parrish, Justin Jones, Tony DeJesus Rodero, Bridget Bowman, and G.P. Cobb. He is also the liaison with the Tri-Oceanic executive, Miss Martin. In their next to last day on the job, Willie and Six-Pack are assigned to work outside the base. Six-Pack falls in a hole. Willie seeks him out and finds a Russian vessel named the Leviathan. Six-Pack finds a safe inside the vessel and brings it to the base. They find money, vodka, a videotape, and documents, and Beck keeps the content of the safe. However, Six-Pack steals a bottle of vodka and drinks it with Bowman. Meanwhile, Beck and Doc watch the videotape and the Russian captain explaining a problem that killed his crew. On the next morning, Six-Pack does not feel well, stays in the sick bay. Soon, Doc learns that his patient has a genetic mutation. When Bowman shows the same symptoms, Beck asks Miss Martin to rescue them. But there's a hurricane on the surface, and rescue mission is not possible. It is a fucking cheesy film, man. It really is. But I rewatched it the other day, and upon rewatching it, I realized my views on things have changed from when I was a kid till now. So, like, when I saw this movie as a kid, the movie came out in 89. I probably saw it around 90 or so. So I would have been about 12 years old when I saw this. And I remember watching it thinking, man, the monster is really cool. I really love the monster. The monster in the film looks like a deep sea fish, like a really scary looking big fang deep sea fish, but it absorbs the people around it. So, like, as it's going on like its murder spree, you see the faces of the people it's absorbed, like, sticking out of its body.
Right.
So it's kind of like the Thing underwater. And it's all done practically. Stan Winston and his crew did like an amazing job with it. It's awesome. And I remember watching it as a kid going, man, this part's awesome. Then upon rewatching it, you don't see the creature till about 45 minutes into the film, and it's only an hour and a half film. But the first 45 minutes are a really tense, really good building of character, which you don't get to see in a cheesy horror film usually. The characters all have a really good like character building segment at the beginning of the film. And watching it, I'm like, wow, I actually enjoy the first part of the film way more than I did the second part as a kid. Because the second part becomes sort of like a tropish like monster movie.
Because normally I'm on a horror movie, you know, all the characters have a tropish character anyway.
Yeah, but here it's like the characters all have like they all have like a singular trait, but they're kind of fleshed out a little bit. The budget was $25 million estimated, but it only made $15 million domestic. $5 million.
I was going to say, looking at some of the pictures, it had a $25 million budget. What did they do the other $24 million?
The movie was filmed. The movie was filmed in a style called dry for wet, which means that they did not film in the ocean. They filmed on a soundstage that was filled with water. So a lot of the set was like built to look like it was underwater, but it really wasn't, as opposed to The Abyss, where James Cameron was like, fuck it, I'm drowning all my actors. Movie is only an hour and 38 minutes long. As I said, with the box office, it was not a major hit at all. Actually, The Abyss was the only film out of all these underwater films to make any money at the box office. But I'm going to talk like a couple little facts about the film here. Like I said, the movie was made by Stan Winston, was the effects editor on it, and he is probably second only to Rick Baker in Oscar wins too in the 80s for creature flicks. And man's like a legend in special effects. This movie came out in 1989, the same time as 4 other movies that were all underwater films. The Abyss, Leviathan, The Evil Below, and Lords of the Deep. And in 1990, a 5th film called The Rift came out. The Abyss is the only one of these films that was a box office hit. The movie is set in the year 2027. In designing the creature, Stan Winston went through a mini library of marine life pictures and medical reference books. They were inspired by the physiology of the natural world and came up with the idea of combining human body parts and elements of deep-sea marine life into an unnatural creature never seen on film before. And that's kind of how they explain it, is like the creature is not a natural phenomenon. It's the product of like some, genetic testing that the Russians were doing, that they're trying to keep secret and all that stuff. There is a scene in the film that probably wouldn't go over well nowadays. It's at the very end. Peter Weller and the main actress of the film are the only ones that survive at the end. And he gets rescued, and they're on the ship, and the character that Meg Foster plays comes out. And it was obvious that she was lying about the fact that there was a hurricane. They were just trying to keep them down there to make more money. And she's like, oh my God, I'm glad you're safe. Are you feeling better? And Peter Weller punches her in the face and knocks her out and goes, I feel a lot better now, and keeps walking. And I'm like, that would definitely not go over well.
No.
Even if she is the villain in the film. Not a lot of really great quotes from the film because it's not that kind of movie. But it does have some good taglines. Here we go. Aliens thrilled you. The Fly shocked you. Now experience real fear.
Real fear.
Real fear. You have to wait 46 minutes to get to the real fear, but yeah. The next one, I think, is probably the best one. How long can you hold your breath?
Yeah, that's actually a decent one. That's like in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah. Welcome to your worst nightmare. Welcome to Leviathan. The next one is like this. I don't know who came up with this tagline. Should have been fired. The true meaning of fear. And the last one. This is probably like I like the hold your breath one. This one's pretty good too. It will leave you gasping for air.
Boo.
So upon rewatching it, does it still stand up or does it lose some of its luster, like it did when I was a younger fan? And I wrote a quick little like synopsis of what I thought about it after watching it for the first time in a really long time. This movie can best be described as aliens underwater. The cast, for the most part, is pretty good. Peter Weller's okay, but sometimes it feels like he's sleepwalking through the film. The first part of the film does a decent job establishing the characters. The second half becomes a bit tropish. It's opposite of how I felt as a kid watching this. Although the practical effects and creature design are a fun throwback to the last gasp of 80s filmmaking. Because there's only 2 or 3 short years after this when we got to Jurassic Park. So, movies that were like 100% practical effects started going to the wayside at that point. So that's all I got to say about that. So, Mike, do you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I actually have a beer fun fact for you boys.
Fun
fact.
Hit me.
The current record for stacking pints of beer on one's head is held by a guy named John Evans. Evans secured a Guinness World Record for the feat when in June 2010 he managed to stack 237 pints of beer on his head.
No.
Molly didn't like that fact. I could hear her in the background.
Molly didn't like that fact at all.
Here's what I gotta say. Here's what I gotta say to that. Why stack them when you could just drink them?
That is true too. But now I got to
drink them.
A pint is what? 16 ounces or 12 ounces?
Pint is 12, I think.
12, right?
Yeah, 12. 16 ounces is the pint.
16 ounces.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what was that number again there?
He stacked 237 pints.
237 of these on his head.
237. Right. Okay, so we're looking at 3,792 ounces, okay? A pound is 8 ounces. 474 pounds on his head.
Yep.
Again, when he could just drink it. So I thought this was a pretty good season premiere. How about you guys?
I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. You guys are so great.
Why, thank you.
Awesome.
Well, somebody's got his soundboard working now.
How are your drinks this evening, gentlemen? Since I went last on the first segment, I'll go first on this one. I like the Christmas pancake, although it was a little bit on the sweet side because I felt like it was more maple syrup than anything else. I did really enjoy the Misfit Toys, though, the peppermint cocoa stout. I thought this one was enjoyable.
And you know what? I keep forgetting to have the beer caramelizer that I should try, just seeing if that enhances the flavor of some of these sweeter beers.
You got to shove a probe up that beer's ass and see how it comes out.
That's right.
Oh. My beer was pretty good. Really good. I liked it. I enjoyed the Root Elf Reserve.
I agree with Leo. The Christmas pancake was a little on the sweeter side. Not bad because I tend to like sweet beers. And my second one is the last one my brother and sister-in-law gave me from their trip up to Cooperstown, New York, which is the Burley Beer Oatmeal Stout, 6.5% alcohol by volume, from Northway Brewing Company. Out of New York. I'm sure it's somewhere in New York.
You said
I can't
Cooperstown,
find
right?
it. Yeah, well, that's where they were when they got it for me. So yeah, we'll go with that.
It's probably Cooperstown, New York. Then.
Probably.
Ooh.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for episode 134, our season 8 premiere, Movies That Time Forgot, part 7. Say that 5 times fast. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com, especially if you live in Council Bluffs, Iowa. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we still want to hear from you guys out there.
You can also go to linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. We are everywhere. We are on all sites. We are on all podcast platforms. It's not hard to find us.
We are Big Brother.
You can support us by going to patreon.com or buying some of our merchandise at teespring.com. You can also visit deluxeeditionnetwork.com to find out more about us and our other friends at the Deluxe Edition Network, The Den. Don't forget to stop by the crossroads between pickled and fermented for our next episode, episode 135. We're going to do another visit to the past as we travel through the 90s and early 2000s. So look at some of the more popular teen movies from those times, that decade and a half or so, and see if those movies still hold up today or if they would get canceled right away. I have a feeling many of them would get canceled right away. Again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Thank you for anybody who's been listening to us since season 1 for sticking with us for these following 8 seasons. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to go back and check out some of our previous episodes. But thank you to everybody out there who's been just supporting the show and helping us grow along the way. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
We had a little bit of water coming out from underneath the refrigerator.
No.
It's like, son of a bitch. And we called Mr. Appliance. He came out, took a look, and the guy goes, "Did you fix this?" I said, "Did I fix this?" He said, "No, I don't even know what you're talking about. We bought the house 2 years ago. I haven't done anything." He goes, "Oh, all right. Well, your water line for the water dispenser and the ice maker," he said, "it looks like that might have cracked or got a hole in it, and somebody previously fixed it with tape." And no, that wasn't me. He said, "Okay, I'm going to fix it. I'll show you what he did." And he fixes it, and he pulls out a piece of tube. It's angled. It's like that, and there's a bulge of tape. I shit you not, 2 inches thick. The guy kept wrapping it.
So he didn't even bend the pipe back into shape. He just wrapped it as was.
Oh my God.
He beehived it with duct tape.
Yeah. Oh man.
See, duct tape doesn't always fix everything.
No. You need some of that flex tape so it doesn't leak. Oh.
Yeah. Even that doesn't fix everything.
We're done with water. We're just done with water.
Never taking a bath again.
No, water's overrated. I'll stick with beer.
So I got a list of about 20 films already that I can use for movies that time forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I went with one that wasn't even on my list.
Of course.
Usually how it goes.
Usually.
Let's see here.
I'll be surprised if either one of you have seen the movies that I'm talking about today.
I look forward to it. I like trying to guess films I've never seen before. So
you guys will get mine with no question.
That was when we were going back and forth with the Harrison Ford shit earlier. And I'm sitting next to Katie, and I'm like, I think we should probably do a Harrison Ford episode at some point. And she's like, didn't you do one already? And I'm like, I don't know. And like, I had to look it up. We did one 74 episodes ago. It was episode 60. Get off my podcast.